Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about our borehole. This borehole is 20 metres deep and 6 inches wide, completely useless. When we did our other video on our water filtration, I said about we'll come back to this, and we're coming back to this. So this was an expensive headache. So about 6 years ago, something like that, when we before we got down here, we had this borehole drilled in by what was supposed to be a professional company. I met the guy out here and he told me you know, that the area was good for a borehole. I asked him questions. I said, will I have enough? I want to keep this pond's tops up. I want to water plants. So will I have enough water to do what I want to do? And he said, you'll have more than enough water to do everything you want to do down there. He actually told me the dangers if the pump was to stay on. It can flood areas and all this, you know, sort of stuff. So I said, oh, that's great. And I said, I have heard that you can draw salt water in the area. And he said, no, not round here. No, he said, I've done ones in the village. So, you know, 5 minutes down the road, he says he's done ones in the village. So, got the job. It's £2,000, which isn't a lot of money if you've got a steady supply of water, you know, through the lifetime. But he drilled the hole, fine, paid the man. When he left, we put our pump in and it draws salt. I phoned him up, I said, this draws salt. He went, oh, well, oh. I said, where was these ones in the village you did then? And of course he said, I did one for a nursery, and did one for a farmer. And I said, well, what were they growing? Seaweed? Because he didn't want to know. He just didn't want to know. He just disappeared. So, I mean, I know where he is, but without creating problems for myself, I've had to take it on the chin. I mean, the guy was even recommended to me. He was even recommended. But you know, so this is why we do so much work ourselves, and we get knocked for doing work ourselves, but at least things we do work in the end, because we make them work. And you can't do anything about it really. I mean, you can have a osmosis machine, but it's so expensive. It just wasn't feasible to go down that route. So we've got this now, and it's just almost a monument really, because you've got to do all the work yourself. So this is why we collect rainwater, because this area isn't good for it. It could be that he went too deep. You can look on a survey of this area, like a geological survey, and I did before he got the job, and it said this one's 15 metres deep, that sort of depth. And I actually asked him about it, and he said, oh, his son, who drilled this with him, checks all that out. And I was like, fine, you know, you're all the people that know how to do it. Didn't say anything about salt on the survey. It said, I think what it might have been for was these like heat source pumps that get the heat out of the ground. But it doesn't, it's no good for us really. So that's a shame. Technology is moving on though, and I've seen things like these graphene filters that people are talking about. There's a really fine mesh where it takes the salt out. It could get more efficient to do this sort of stuff in the future. You know, for third world countries, having that sort of technology will be amazing, because there's a lot of places around the world that do draw salt, and this isn't just salt it draws. It looks perfectly clean and fresh when it comes out the ground. It's, you know, it's clear, but if you leave it half an hour, it goes bright orange, and it's rust basically. It's iron. It's heavily laden with iron, and some people say it could, you know, manganese and things like that. I haven't had it tested. I haven't bothered, because it's just too much work at the moment to do. So it's been left, and it's been cheaper to do what we're doing, collecting off roofs and things. So that was the story really. It's annoying that you can't, you have to get people in to do things sometimes, and I didn't have the machine, and I couldn't hire the machine. I couldn't hire a machine to do this, but we should have found other ways around it, I think. And later on, I'm going to do a shallow well, which I'm going to dig out with a digger, because we get water that's fresh, but you don't go 20 metres deep to get it. It seems to be kept around there. We've got something that's about, so it's what, like 3 metres deep over there, and there always seems to be a bit of water holding in there. If I just go a few metres deeper than that, we can have a pump in there that just pumps as and when, and put it into a big tank. So let it fill, pump it out, let it fill, pump it out, and because we need enough water to water all the things we've got going on here. We want our food forest to work, and we don't want dry spells where things die, our fruit trees. We want to have our polytunnels irrigated. We want plenty of water for that in the summer. So that's something we've got to do next year. Yeah, so if anyone's planning on doing this sort of thing, beware, because you know, it's the legal side of it was fine. You could draw, I think it was 20,000 litres at the time we looked a day, which was, you know, plenty. You know, 20,000 litres. So we didn't have any worries about that. But getting people to do stuff right, getting the expertise, and you know, that we found that with lots of things really. So yeah, so it was an expensive mistake. It wouldn't have been expensive if it had worked, but when you're trying to do this sort of thing, and £2,000 can go quite a long way when you're trying to live like this. So it's just a warning for other people, and hopefully someone might not get caught out like we did. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again next time.